I was a heavy drug user and drinker, and being able to experience food in its natural state cleansed me.
For some people, vegetarianism offers salvation from bad habits. Vegans take it a step farther, cutting out all animal and dairy products. Then there are the raw food purists.
When I first went to California when I was 7 years old, I ate a tangerine off a tree. And I think that is the triggering moment that got me into natural foods.
A raw food diet is basically a diet made up of raw nuts, seeds, sprouted grains, fruits, and vegetables. And it means that the food is unprocessed and it's not cooked. We dehydrate some of the foods, but we don't dehydrate them over 125 degrees. And the point for that is to not cook the enzymes out of the food. When you cook food, you kill the enzymes, you kill the vitamins, you kill the nutrients, you kill all the minerals, and so your body doesn't feel nourished.
Raw is a state of feeling. It's an emotion of feeling that every day is the best day of your life and living at the cutting edge of life force energy. Really living, like having a good time always, not an artificial good time that has a hangover, but real natural highs that are sustainable and that keep giving and giving and giving.
A raw fooder looks at organic, vegan, cooked food, and we think glue, bleach, and metal.
Vegans do eat, breads, but there's a difference between a vegan and a vegan raw foodist. A vegan raw foodist will eat only plant-based raw foods, where, let's say, a raw foodist will eat raw eggs, raw meat, raw cheese.
Converts contend there's no end to the benefits of the raw lifestyle.
One of them is more energy. I mean, probably the biggest problem that raw foodists have is too much energy.
All my little aches and pains, and they all went away, and I just started feeling great.
If you're too skinny, it makes you big, and if you're too big, it makes you skinny, and that's pretty amazing.
I have not been sick in about 8 years. I've not had a headache, I've not had a cold. My weight has been maintained for like 8 years. Emotionally, I feel happier.
People come up with all these amazingly interesting scientific explanations as to why raw food is better than cooked food. But the obvious reason is that it just has water in it, it has juice. People want to be more juicy, and the only way you can get more juicy, have that juice in your tissues, that bounce, is by taking in juice, drinking juice. And where are you going to get that? It has to be living food, original food.
Then there's the question of taste.
All cooked food is cooked on pots and pans, metal, which when it's heated, it expands, and food actually absorbs the metal out of it. And when you quick cook food for 3 weeks and you eat some raw and then you go eat some cooked food again, even vegan organic, there's a very major taste of metal in your mouth left over from the meal that you cannot remove for like 4 to 6 hours.
Critics suggest that the raw diet lacks balance and one important nutrient, protein. But raw foodists claim they have it covered.
I think the concern that we have with protein is a bit of a myth, because there's protein in everything that we eat. I mean, spinach per pound has the same amount of protein as a piece of red meat. Now, granted, you'd have to eat a lot of spinach.
There's a common misconception going around that we need tons of protein, and it's just not the case. And actually, too much protein is damaging and taxing to the body, especially for the kidneys.
Despite the restrictions, raw believers maintain that their way of eating presents dieters with more choices, not less.
We're living on pizza, pasta, sushi, burritos, cheeseburgers, french fries. Anything you can make cooked, we can make raw, and it's way better. And that is guaranteed. Instead of steaks, okay, we're serving porcini and matsutake mushroom steaks.
In fact, the raw food lifestyle has spawned an entire industry. Today, there are raw food restaurants.
So a cucumber on here. This dish is ready to go, I'd say. Boom.
Raw cooking classes and raw food seminars. Still, there's one staple of the raw food diet that separates the diehards from the dilettantes, what believers call the superfoods.
Superfoods are foods like goji berries. They're complete foods. They contain a lot of different nutrients and minerals.
Foods like raw chocolate. You know, they've got a lot of magical powers. Honey is a superfood. Raw, wild, original honey. And, of course, bee pollen and things that come out of the hive are superfoods. And then there's the algae, spirulina.
To a newcomer, the idea of eating uncooked seaweed, sprouts, and grasses can be scary.
We just recommend people taking a slow transition and taking things one step at a time. Maybe giving up red meat for a week or two, and once you feel like you can stop eating chicken and do that for a couple weeks, and then maybe in a month or 2 months you'll get rid of dairy and you'll just be feeling great.
Remember the rule: in 3 weeks, it'll be terrible and hard and, you know, oh my God, 5 hours to make one meal and it sucks. But after 3 weeks, it'll get easy, it'll click.
You're innovating new dishes and things in your home, buying raw food recipe books, you figure it out and you piece it together a whole new kind of a lifestyle.
But despite the spread of the raw food craze, some nutritional experts remain skeptical. The American Dietetic Association, for instance, still advises a more well-rounded diet.
The raw diet has got a lot of very helpful aspects to it, a lot of fruits and vegetables, but it's not quite balanced overall. As a dietitian, I recommend a combination of raw and cooked foods. But sometimes when people think of cooked foods, they may be thinking of fast food, hamburgers that are fried, you know, in fast food restaurants. That's not really what we're talking about when we say that it's good to have a balance of, you know, raw foods and cooked foods. We're talking about the healthful foods like the fruits and vegetables and the whole grains and the beans.